Pizza Tower, one of the most hyped up games to come out this year. You play as Peppino Spaghetti as you smash, dash, and topping your way through a tower with some interesting places inside. This game carries a very heavy emphasis on score attack, as getting enough points gives you that oh so satisfying P rank. But do you ever think it's possible to have the lowest score? Is it possible? Is it annoying? How low can your final score be at the end? Well, that's what I want to find out. Watch and find out as I introduce the Pizza Tower Low Score Run. For each level that can mark a score, we will be getting the lowest score possible. We'll see my performance at the end when I get judged. Yeah, the rules are simple. So let's start the game. We start at the tutorial, but this stage doesn't have a ranking or anything, so we don't need to care about what happens here, so we can dash right through without worry. Now we can enter our real first level, John Gutter. Now the thing about low score challenges is that they're mostly similar to our normal run of the game. The only difference is that you're mostly getting hit near the pillar to drain all of your points, as once you hit it, you'll enter pizza time. You'll need to hurry back to the entrance before time runs out, or you die. So I'll drain all my points before we have to worry about a time limit. While only beating the level is the goal, we also need to collect these little guys called Toppins. These guys are important as they will give us money in order to unlock the bosses and proceed to the next areas. However, when you break open the cage, it gives you 1,000 points. But as long as it's not during the escape sequence, we are all good to drain our score afterwards. These fort guys are perfect to drain our score with here at the end. With 0 points during pizza time, we make it back to the beginning. If we do manage to collect some excess points and clocks, we can just take a little bit of time to get hit and lose them. We lose 5 points every second, so even if we make it to the end with excess points, we can wait for our points to drain at the entrance. This game gives us more than enough time to get to the end due to the lap 2 mechanic. With all of these things in our favor, we finish John Gutter with a score of 0. Task failed successfully.
Please. Good job. That was awful. I've never seen it. I've never heard a D-Rig.
Why is the score 10?
What? Wait, why is it 10?
I actually have no idea why it's 10.
You had 0, right?
Yeah.
Does entering the door just give you 10 points?
Now shoot, dude, I'm confused.
Oh yeah, here, you wanna see that title screen Easter egg?
Yeah, as you can see, instead of actually giving us 0 points, the devs instead decided to give you 10 pity points instead. So I guess the lowest you can get in each stage is 10 then. Next up is Pizzascape. This stage is once again fairly simple. We can get all of the toppings before pizza time, and we can drain our score beforehand. One thing to watch out for is the priest. His purpose is to turn you back into your normal self after using a transformation. But if it's the first time you're using him, he will give you 500 free points to your total when it happens, so you'll have to lose them on the way if it happens to be during pizza time. While this does happen in Pizzascape, there is more than enough time to lose the points to these fort guys, letting me accidentally finish with more than 0 points. How many points did it?
Oh my god, you did not just get 14. After all that.
Wait, what?
Wait, you get to wait. You get 10 pity points if you get nothing. So you have to get 1.
Unbelievable game design.
What? You accidentally got a worse score than you wanted.
This is all when it shifts into my brain. I quickly learn upon refinishing John Gutter with this new information that a 1 score is entirely possible. So finishing every stage with a 1 score is going to be our main goal from now on. Getting the score count to say 1 is easier said than done. The combo counter is the key to this problem. When you kill an enemy, your combo gets higher, giving you bonus points and such. Killing and ending your combo on a 2 gives you 21 points, or a 5 gives us 56. This is so that it helps with the pizza time timer. You mostly lose points in multiples of 5 anyway. If you have no points and quickly need to get some, just quickly kill 2 enemies and you should be fine. Now it's time for Blood Sauce Dungeon. This place sucks, but you want to make sure to kill and collect everything you can before the escape. Due to the short hallways and verticality of this stage, it is much more difficult to dodge most things around, so getting rid of the problem is better than dealing with it later. Once we dash to the end, there is another fort guy at the very end, letting us quickly drain our entire stock of points and let us finish with a score of 1. Ancient Cheese is similar to Blood Sauce Dungeon, if Dungeon was horizontal instead of vertical. This level also houses a main problem, as I can only find 4 of the 5 top-ends before getting to the pillar. Turns out the 5th one is just after the pillar, granting out 1,000 points during escape. Normally this would be a huge issue, but the enemies in this level like this fort guy near the beginning, and these fencer guys are very efficient in removing my points, but I need to be quick before I run out of time. Thankfully this level is not too bad and I ended off with a total score of 1. Now we need to fight the first boss, Pepperman. Now boss rankings work differently from levels. They don't give you a score, but more track how much health you have left afterwards. While bosses don't count towards the total final score, I just decided to get the worst rank possible in the spirit of the challenge. With Pepperman failed successfully, we now move on to World 2. Oregano Desert is simple. However, all of the toppings are stuck in these Pizza Mart places. This doesn't seem so bad until you realize there's only 3 of them before the pillar to commence pizza time. Even worse is that there is no way to take damage inside the UFO area at first glance. However, there are these rain cloud dudes inside the 3rd Pizza Mart just before the pillar we can use. So the question remains, where are the other 2 Pizza Marts? Sadly, they're during the escape, and getting both will give us too many points to drain in time. The cheese pogger dudes are so less reliable to get hit by unlike the fork dudes. Sadly, we need to leave them behind, but that doesn't mean that they're impossible to get. Instead, I go back in and grab them both on 2 different runs, making sure to keep my high score to 1. With both top ends obtained, Oregano Desert is cleared. Fun Farm is actually really easy. These Spud Farmer guys are like the fort guys but better as they continuously hit you. Mort also shows up, but unlike the Ghost and Knight forms from before, you can actually get hit with Mort and lose him that way, letting you bypass the priests that are around the level. Even though there is a top end during pizza time, it doesn't matter as by the end, the Spud enemies show up next to a small corridor, letting you drain your points super quickly and letting me end the level with a score of 1. Now we go to Waste Yard. Waste Yard is one of the worst levels in this game for this challenge. For one, once we start the level, the cheese pogger guys are back at the beginning, so that's already an annoying start. The main mechanic of this level is Ghost Peppino. Peppino will turn into a ghost and can fly around. During this time, he has full invincibility, but the worst part is that the only way to change your back is using a priest. You know, the same priest that gives us 500 points the first time we use him. This ghost mechanic is used everywhere in this level, even during pizza time, which is what I want to talk about the most. Upon starting pizza time, you'll turn into a ghost, so that's yet another 500 extra points we need to get rid of. Not only that, but the pillar ghost will be chasing you the entire time as well. And if he touches you, you get sent back to the last loading zone you came from, losing you very important time. Later on is the last topping you'll only be able to get during escape. We just don't have any time to grab this guy and drain 1,000 more points, so we have to skip him. There is just no other way. After that is yet another ghost section. Do you see why this level is becoming annoying? After getting even more points, we finally make it back to the beginning, with like 1,000 more points that we need to get rid of. If these cheese pogging dudes have any mercy on my soul, they can drain all of these points just before you run out of time and face certain death, letting us clear with a score of 1. Thank God, I really hated that level. The last level in World 2 is Fast Food Saloon, an interesting level. Starts out pretty standard, but once we get to the key door room, we need to leave all of the enemies alive. These are the last enemies before the pillar to drain our score, and we can't travel back due to the wind. I do want to go in a bit more to grab the last top end so we can drain all my points at once and have no trouble during pizza time, letting us complete the level with only a score of 11. Wait, what? Yeah, it says 11, but when I come out of the door, it actually says 1 on the score thing. So I have no idea what happened there. Is that like a visual bug or something? That's really weird. After shooting down the Vigilante's ego, we now head over to World 3. Time for World 3, starting with a little golf. Golf, as we all know, is very boring, but here we have to do it to proceed through the level. When you hit the ball in the hoop with a decent score, you'll gain a few extra points, which is what we don't want. The solution to this problem is to jump on the ball a fair bit. Once it's about 10 over par, when you hit it in, it will give you nothing. That's mostly how this level goes. The last hop-in has gotten through the escape, but we have plenty of time to drain our score at the end with these demon-looking dudes, granting us with an awesome score of 1 point.
Next up is Gnome Forest. The level starts fairly simple before having to switch to our newest playable characters, Gustavo and Brick.
While they play similar to Peppino, they aren't as fast, but make up for it by having good jumping power and great team attacks with good range.
The main gimmick of this level is to deliver the pizza wizards to the gnomes, which will give you a toppin in return.
Before the last section, when you deliver the 4th pizza, make sure to leave these goblins alive. Once the delivery is done, use them to start draining your points from here.
We need to do this here, as entering the next and final area has John Pillar, and we cannot go back due to the boosters in the way, screwing over the run.
Once the pillar is active, we need to make a mad dash back to Peppino so he can deliver the last pizza in time.
Near the beginning is the return of the Fork Knights, letting us quickly drain our points once more, ending this stage off with a score of 1.
Next up is Deep Dish 9. Unlike the mini UFO section from before, there are actually enemies around that can actually hurt you, which is good. Collecting the toppins is also very easy and can be done before reaching a goal, which you'll then have to slowly wait for this guy to cut down your score, and he's really bad at doing it. Like, seriously, he's so slow. At least this is one of the easiest escapes to do in the game, as entering the final rocket just spawns you at the door, and after a bit of waiting we end the score of, you guessed it, 1. The last level in World 3 is Crust Cove, and probably the most interesting. Main gimmick are these barrels that let you roll around whenever you want. The easiest way to get rid of it is to take damage, but mostly the game wants you to use the priests. This is a heavy problem during pizza time. The game really wants you to go fast with these barrels while using the priest to turn back to normal. I was not having the best luck getting past these priests with the barrels, forcing me to skip the toppin in the middle of the escape, as I have too many points to lose before my timer runs out. I'm pretty sure you can get the last topping if you were actually good at the game, but for now I would just settle on 4 of the 5 toppings and a very low score of 1. And after giving the noise his own piece of noise himself, the World 3 is clear, and it's now time for World 4. We start World 4 off with Peppibot Factory. This level is very sane until we get to the gimmick part of the level, Peppino turning into a pizza box. By that point, 3 toppins have been collected, leaving the 4th and 5th ones. The 4th one is in the initial portion of the pizza box area. However, there are no more enemies until pizza time that can drain your score. Sadly, this means 2 things. 1, we need to drain our score before this part of the level, and 2, this topping is basically part of the escape sequence. It really doesn't help that the last one is also part of the escape as well. Now while this does look really bad, there's one good thing about all this. The time limit is very generous, so once we make it to the end, in the lap 2 area there are actual enemies that can drain your score right at the very end. So honestly, I just did this level twice to get both of the necessary toppings, and end this level with a score of 1. Now it's time for Refrigerator, Refreezinator. Okay, great, awesome. The level at first seems fine and innocent, letting us get all the toppings beforehand. However, as soon as we pick up the Pepper Pizza power-up, the level becomes much more challenging. While in this state, Peppino is fully invincible and can basically fly. We will need to fly very carefully to the end without killing too many things, as if we kill too many things, our time will run out before our score, meaning game over. If you can get your score down very close, there's a tiny bit of stall for the rest of the points. When Pizza Face shows up, constantly transition from room to room to keep pizza respawning indefinitely. Once your score is down, enter the final door for a low score of 1.
Next level is the Pig City. This level is straightforward and even lets us play as Gustavo again.
All toppings can be gotten here before pizza time, and there are plenty of enemies around to drain your score, letting us beat this level with an impressive score of only 1.
Wait, is that all I wrote down for this level? Anyway. Now it's time for the last level, Oh, huh.
Yeah, no way you're voicing this level. You can't even say the name of it. Oh shit is one of the most annoying levels in the run. First off, we have a new mechanic with Cheesed Pepino.
Now, unlike most of the transformations, you can actually get hit out of this one or touch water to get rid of it, so you can avoid the priests in this level. Which is a good thing because Cheesed Pepino is so slow that you don't even want to use it during the escape or anything, so it's a real hassle.
The selection of enemies to drain our score is awful as well. While the ball shooting ones aren't bad in the beginning, the pizza ninjas are very slow attacking and actively run away from you, so it's really annoying to get hit by them. But that's not even the worst part of the level. Pizza Time's timer ends up being very low. Since to skip the first priest, you need to kill the rat, go all the way back to the switch, go down all the way back to the water, then back up to the switch just to proceed with the level.
Not only that, but not one, but two toppings are a part of the escape, and we just can't get them. We wasted so much time dodging points, we're already short on time, and this level is fairly long. There is no way around it, we need to skip both of these toppings and head straight for the goal.
It's probably possible to get both of these toppings in 2 separate runs, but I don't think it's possible at the moment, leaving us with only 3 of the 5 and a score of 1.
After the bout with Horror Incarnate, it's now time to head into World 5. Upon reaching World 5, the requirements to reach the final boss state that we need $210, for a grand total of 86 toppings to be rescued. Our total of toppings we have obtained is 76, missing 1 from Wasteland, 1 from Crust Cove, and 2 from the other level I refuse to say. As long as we can get 2 levels with all of our toppings, or at least 10 from the 3 combined levels, we can fight the final boss and beat the game. Our first level is Don't Make a Sound, my least favorite level in the game. This is a horror level that has you being chased by monsters. If you're caught by one, you'll be treated to a jump scare as you rapidly lose points. I don't think I need to tell a non-horror fan why this is not fun at all. Thankfully there are plug blocks at the end of the level, so I don't have to ever be jump scared if you're actually good at the game. By the end of the stage, you'll get a shotgun to take out everything. Although, don't go crazy. We still need to get a low score and get our topping during the escape. The time isn't too bad, so we can end the stage with an awesome score of only 1. The second level is Pizza Scare. This level is also simple as long as you don't kill too many ghosts. The ghosts are great at lowering your score, like this group of them next to the door. We have another topping during escape, but the ghost guys make draining your score very easy, giving us plenty of time to make it to the end with a score of 1. With this, we now have 86 of the required toppings to get to the final boss. But before that, I wanted to take a look at what a little score of Run of War will look like. And I'm just going to tell you that it's not pretty at all. I'm so glad we're skipping it because a low score I don't think would be low at all, considering it's a level with a constant time limit. Thank God we don't have to ever play a level like that. And now, it's time for the final fight with Pizza Face. Now, while this fight gives you health and everything, it doesn't give you a rank after all, meaning that whatever happens here doesn't matter to the overall run. Ever giving Pizza Head permanent brain damage, it's time for the Crumbling Tower of Pizza, or what I like to call Absolute Hell. This level starts with a time limit from start to finish, and unlike every time limit in the game, if it hits 0, you're instantly dead. Coupled around the fact that there are points everywhere with a strict time limit, we have one of the hardest, if not the hardest level in the game. And yes, before you ask, this level does give you a rank the first time you play it. We need absolutely near perfect gameplay to pull off this score. In the first room, make sure you're dashing to duck and slide on the ground. You can't kill enemies like this, so you're safe while you're also going fast. The next room has a gun that we need to progress, but only use it when necessary. Run past everything else before throwing the gun away. The next section has these ramps you want to jump over to avoid any excess points. Trust me, we do not want to pick up any extra points. Every second here will count. After the floor 4 room, the next room you want to stay low instead of on the rails. When on the final rail, jump over the 100 points at the end. In the next room, after riding the hot dog, you want to get off early and crouch jump over this pizza block. Next room, you want to slow down during this booster section to avoid getting 100 points. And when flying up, veer hard left or end it early to avoid another pizza block. In the World 3 room, there's a bell on the far left that we need to slow down for. After a few forced points, we make it to golf again. Once again, jump on it for 10 plus over par for no extra score and proceed as normal. Once we're in the World 2 lobby, it's time to get rid of all of these excess points. Grab this Spud guy and go to the small hole in the ground and drain your points to 0. We need to do this to set up a combo in a second. With our score of 0, we dash over to the next room. Here, get as low as possible so we don't collect this 100 points. And by this point, if you collect anything major, your run is dead. Dash through these blocks while killing the last enemies in the entire game, giving us a combo of 2 for 21 points. Jump over the next ramp and run against the wall to the next section, where you jump to the left wall and down the shaft of unavoidable points. This is why we need a lot of time left. We need these to passively leave our score as we make it to the final stretch. Quickly double jump over every set of points in the way as we make it back to the very first floor of the entire game. If you've done everything correctly, by the time you get to the door, your points should be passively lowering yourself down to the lowest amount, giving us one last final score of only 1 point. With the Pizza Tower destroyed forever and Peppino calling me the worst Pizza Tower player of all time, we end my low score challenge with a final score of 19. 1 for each of the 19 levels I played throughout the entire game. If you're still watching to the end, thank you so much. This was definitely not the next video I was supposed to make, but I liked this game so much that I wanted to give it justice, and I wanted everyone to know that it was great. Join me next time for the actual video that I was supposed to work on. Goodbye, everyone.